We know that according to the Oxford Languages Dictionary, terrorism can be defined as the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians in the pursuit of political aims. But this definition actually leaves out a lot of the characteristics and details that make up an act of terrorism. So here we have some of those characteristics. Firstly, the action must include violence or a threat of violence, and in some cases it may also include damage to private and/or public property. Additionally, these actions must be motivated by political, religious, economic, or social purposes to be considered as terrorism. Also, they must be created to have psychological repercussions beyond the immediate target, meaning that the actions should aim to cause terror and fear among its victims. They must be carried out by either an organization with a command chain, a non-identifiable conspiratorial soul structure, or by individuals. And finally, the action must be executed by a subnational group or non-state entity. Aside from these characteristics, there are also some ways of distinguishing terrorism from other forms of violence. One of the main things we can use to differentiate terrorism from other forms of violence are the killings. When the killings are performed by non-state actors against civilians and they are not motivated by any particular political, economic, or social goal, they are classified as a homicide, not as terrorism. Likewise, any form of violence that is motivated by either ethnicity, gender, disability, or sexuality that is performed by non-state actors against civilians is considered as hate crime. Thirdly, when there is an open combat between opposing armed forces and at least one of the parties is a government of a state, it can be classified as state-based armed conflict. When none of the parties are a government of a state, then it is classified as a non-state conflict. Finally, when there is violence performed by governments against civilians, it can be named as one-sided violence.